How can you help your aging parents from a distance? Welcome to Frank Bruno Law. I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney. If your parents are older, if they're getting on in age, you may be assisting them with finances, issues such as taking them to medical visits and shopping. You may live close, you may be able to visit weekly, maybe more often. You may live far away, and before the coronavirus, you've been visiting every few months. Either way, due to COVID-19, you may not be able to visit right now, even if you live close. Well, and that's either because flights aren't available, or you're working more, or you're homeschooling your children, or you're just protecting your elder and you're not going there because it's not safe, because you have to go out into the world. Either because you have an essential job, or you have to shop, you have to get food, right? So the help that you've been providing may have to change in nature. So if you've been helping them, your elder, your parent, pay bills, manage their finances, and you can't drop by and write a check, well, maybe your parents can give you online access to their accounts. Technically, the bank or financial institution may not want you to share, the account holder's information or provide online access, but maybe you can FaceTime with your parents. You can have access to their screen, and if your parent provides you with their username and password, well, then you can help them. Extraordinary times like this require extraordinary solutions. If your parent doesn't have online access to their accounts, you should be able to set this up through a conference call, with your parent and the financial institution. So a little bit of a sticking point there might be two-factor verification. Sometimes the institution might text you something, you have to put a code in. But if you could coordinate and facilitate with your parent, you could get the code on your cell phone or have on your parent's cell phone and let them give it to you. Perhaps you can even change the dual verification contact information. It may also make sense to have your parents' mail forwarded to you for the time being. I just did recently changed my office mail to go to my home. You might also want to go to e-bills to make it easier to pay online. It could be a temporary change of address with the Postal Service. They'll allow you to do that. Make sure you have online access to your parents' accounts. Preferably doing so under the financial institution's rules. And that could be by being named a joint owner, or you can use a power of attorney, power of attorney, or become a co-trustee of a trust. So even in the absence of a pandemic, it makes sense to be able to facilitate this type of assistance for your parents. And it allows you to seamlessly be involved in their life, and it gives you the ability to see what's going on with their accounts, right? Your parents probably don't want to be monitored, but older Americans, the elderly, are prime targets of scams. Having that oversight ability could help. Really, you could discern if there are any issues with your parents' accounts, and you could intervene where appropriate. It also would allow your parents to handle their own finances just with your oversight. When things get back to normal, even though you have online access, you and your parents may want to go back to having you help them write checks. This could give them a sense of control and normalcy. It'll give you a chance to visit with them and make sure they're doing well, right? Sometimes we need that little extra push to visit our parents. Healthcare. So it's a little bit difficult to have virtual assistance with healthcare. It's more difficult in finances, doctors, offices, pharmacies. Due to HIPAA restrictions, may not be able to communicate with you. And even though telehealth is coming around, it's really not up to par in small visit type settings, right? I don't know if we get the doctor, the parent, and the adult child on the line. But probably all non-emergency medical visits have been canceled at this point, at least for the duration of the pandemic. Once telehealth gets up and running, maybe you can meet the patient and Maybe we could do a Zoom call, right, with the patient and the doctor, or other small group meetings. Now, these sessions must be HIPAA compliant. Your parents' authorization to include you should also do the trick if they're with you and you're talking to them virtually. In general, you may be able to more easily communicate with your parents' providers if you have a healthcare proxy and a HIPAA release. The healthcare proxy is a very comprehensive document. I've spoken about it a number of times. But technically, that's only effective when a doctor has found the parent to be incompetent. And probably the more appropriate document when your parents are just going for routine medical appointments would be the HIPAA release. That's effective anytime, and it gives the medical personnel the ability to communicate with you. So that's very important in these times. In addition, the healthcare proxy, you can only name one person, but the HIPAA release, you can name multiple people. So if my wife is helping her parents, they could also name me as a person on the HIPAA release, so that I could also intermittently help my mother-in-law, father-in-law. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about these, get some insight, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email, frank@frankbrunolaw. Thank you.